Welcome to Mimika TV. I'm your host, Mimika Cooney. I'm honored to be with you on this journey towards empowering you to succeed in faith, leadership, and business. Hi everyone, it's Mimika Cooney, and I have a question for you today. My question is, what are you doing with your talents? Now, the reason I ask this is I think it's super important for everybody in any situation. So whether you are a mom with kids or you're a business owner or you're trying to do something, I think oftentimes we can get so taken in by what the rest of the world is thinking we should be doing, and we kind of lose sight of the goal. Now, the reason I talk about this is I'd recently just finished up a 6-month training program working with a coach so I could learn to do figure skating. Well, it's a lot longer than 6 months, but let me say that this particular project with focused effort required 6 months of training and concerted effort to actually get there. So subsequent to say, after working with my coach on a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly basis, I was able to achieve my goal, which was to win a gold medal in the adult figure skating state games of where I live. Now, I mean, I know it can kind of sound like, well, so what? Who cares about that? What I want to share, what is important about this whole prospect is that I was kind of looking back at how this whole thing started. And really what it was, it really started with me thinking, I really wanted to do something that I'd never tried before, something that would push me out of my comfort zone, and something that I felt like I wanted to test to see if it's something I could do. So taking on the challenge, I really wanted to try something, but I had to take the steps of deciding that I was going to make it happen and doing the things like showing up for training. And I can guarantee you, I did not often feel like being on the ice. Training for this kind of thing takes a lot of mental and physical fortitude, but this is the thing, is we can make a decision that we're going to do something, but unless our actions follow up our decisions, nothing happens. And here's another thing, is if I had gone by how I felt about things, nothing would have happened. I wouldn't have achieved what I wanted to achieve, because if I was constantly led by how I felt, whether I was feeling motivated or feeling good enough to do that, I'd realize that that was not the point. But what I wanted to share with you today is I really feel like if you have something that you know that you're meant to be doing, whether it's something new that you've never tried before, maybe something old you let down, if you have a talent for something, I want to encourage you, you need to use it. Now, if we have to refer to the parable of the talents, now in Matthew 25, verse 14 to 30, it talks about, and I'm sure we've heard this in different ways, the talents of the bag of gold, or the servants and the talents. Basically, a talent in the old days was considered either money or a resource. And that is very relevant today, because I feel like a lot of us have so many resources and things at our disposal, but if we're not using them, we pretty much are burying them in the sand. And pretty much what God says in his word is that what he said when he came back, he said, the master said to his servant, to those who multiplied their talents, well done, good and faithful servant. But on the other hand, to the person he gave one talent who did nothing and buried it, he called him a wicked and lazy servant. Now, I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want to be in that category. I want to make sure that whatever I do, I can use to the benefit of others, more so than what it benefits me. But I want to be able to multiply that, because when you can be faithful with one thing, then God can reward you with more things. So I just want to encourage you today that if you feel like you're sitting on the fence about making a decision, waiting for this inspiration to strike or the motivation to grab you so you feel like doing it, let me tell you now, feelings are fickle. You can't trust and rely on them, and you can't wait to feel motivated. You need to decide today, take little steps of action, little baby steps, no matter whether it is, buying a pair of running shoes and actually deciding you're going to go start walking every day, or take up a class that you've never done before, or, buy a book, or, whatever it is that you feel like you can do, that is, it's a tiny little step today towards where you want to be in the future. Let me encourage you that, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Now, in my story, I actually had been a ballet dancer my whole life. So when I got to the age of 31, I was like, well, I really would always wanted to be a figure skater as a child, but didn't have access to a rink. So I thought, well, what's stopping me? So at the age of 31, I decided I would start training. Now, that was like 10 years ago. I know I'm dating myself. In between that, I had a baby. So I kind of took like a 4 or 5 year hiatus. But once I decided that this is what I really wanted to do, I really enjoyed it just for fun, but it's only when I really made the decision to make a firm commitment to myself and made myself accountable to others by getting a coach and telling those around me that this is what my goal was, and making sure I showed up every week, rain or shine, to be there for my training, is how it was able to be done. So no matter what your challenge is today, what you feel led to do, or however you feel that you want to try something new, let me encourage you just to take that baby step, because the world needs those special talents that only you have, that only you can offer the world in the way that only you can offer it. So let me encourage you today, if there's something that you've been thinking about, just try it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You could fall down. So what? You get up again. You might just have to dust yourself off, because that's what I always say, skating is like life. You always feel like you're skating on thin ice. Sometimes you go a little fast and you feel like you're going around the corner and edges and you might wipe out and hurt yourself, and that's fine. What you do is you just keep going and you keep at it. But the most important thing is to make sure that you set your mind, because skating is 80% mental. Even if you have a bad negative thought, you're more than likely to tense up and get like really agitated, and highly likelihood that you actually will fall when you are anticipating the worst. So the idea is just to let it go, let it flow, go with the training, make the decision, and look forward to the rewards on the other side. So I hope that's a bit of an encouragement for today. I'd love to hear your comments on anything that you are challenging yourself with lately. Until next time, take care.